An aircraft accident involving a United States Air Force B-52 bomber occurred near Thule Air Base in the Danish territory of Greenland in 1968. The B-52 was carrying 4 thermonuclear weapons. A routine Cold War patrol turned into one of history's most serious nuclear accidents when a U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber carrying 4 hydrogen bombs crashed near Thule Air Base in northwestern Greenland. On January 21, 1968, a B-52 bomber, part of Operation Chrome Dome, carrying 4 B-28 Fi thermonuclear bombs, was flying over Baffin Bay when a fire in the cabin forced the crew to abandon the plane before it could make an emergency landing at Thule. 6 crew members ejected safely, but 1 died in the crash. While the bomber crashed onto the sea ice of North Star Bay, causing the high explosives component of the weapons to explode, rupturing and dispersing the nuclear payload across the surface of the ice. Within hours of the accident, American and Danish authorities launched a massive cleanup effort, Operation Crested Ice. The mission faced immense pressure, as the work had to be completed before the spring thaw, when melting sea ice could carry radioactive contaminants into the ocean. The operation unfolded under brutal Arctic conditions. Temperatures averaged 40 F40C and at times plunged to 76 F60C, with winds reaching up to 89 miles per hour 40 milliseconds. Despite the darkness of the polar winter and the constant threat of exposure, the cleanup teams were tasked with one of the most challenging recovery operations of the Cold War. It is believed that the high explosives in the outer coverings of the 4 1.1 megaton H bombs aboard detonated, releasing radiation from the plutonium and the bombs and causing fires that destroyed all 4. Wreckage of the plane was widely scattered in an area about 300 yards on either side of the plane's path, much of it in cigarette box-sized pieces. A specialized team of 70 Air Force and civilian radiation experts was immediately deployed to monitor contamination and recover debris, later joined by the Navy's Special Recovery Unit previously involved in the Palomares incident. After about 10 days, the bomb's components were located within 1,000 feet of the crash site. A massive collection and removal effort began. The contaminated ice and crash debris were removed to the United States, and the bomb debris was sent to the AEC Pantex plant at Amarillo, Texas, where the bombs had been manufactured. The area was highly contaminated with JP-4 aviation fuel and radioactive elements that included plutonium, uranium, americium, and tritium. Plutonium levels as high as 380 mgm2 were registered in the area. According to General Hunziker, 93% of the contaminated material was successfully removed from the accident site. However, reports in the Danish press in 1987-88 and again in 2000 suggested that one of the bombs may not have been fully recovered. At the time of the incident, the Strategic Air Command SAC had stated that all 4 bombs were destroyed. In 2008, the BBC published an article based on partially declassified documents obtained through the United States Freedom of Information Act. These documents indicated that within weeks of the accident, investigators realized only 3 of the 4 weapons could be accounted for. One declassified document, dated January 1968, describes a blackened section of ice with shroud lines from a weapon parachute, noting speculates something melted through the ice such as burning primary or secondary. A follow-up report from July 1968 states that an AEC analysis of the recovered secondary components showed that 85% of the uranium and 94%, by weight, of 3 secondaries had been recovered, while no parts of the 4th secondary were identified. Even today, after more than 50 years later, scientists and local residents continue to wonder what lies beneath the ice of North Star Bay and whether the missing fragments of the hydrogen bombs still pose a hidden threat.